Hi and welcome to Money Made Magic. My name is Suzanne and today we are going to talk about the importance of having a contingency fund. So what is a contingency fund? A contingency fund, when you are on a budget and paying down debt or saving for anything, is something which you put away for things that aren't an emergency but that happen. So emergencies are things like the cooker blows up, the car breaks down and you need £500 to fix it, the vet bills, those are emergencies. So you have your emergency fund, which is recommended to be £1,000. My emergency fund's always been a little bit more than that. I'm just more comfortable with having a little bit more in there. But a contingency fund is different. So it's not really an emergency, but it's things that you perhaps need to buy or spend your money on that come up unexpectedly. Some examples of where you might need to use your contingency fund are: a relative is sick and you end up spending more money on travelling to see them, to support them. Your own circumstances change and you end up spending more money on groceries, for example, or on things that you need to support you through that particular period of time. In terms of my example, what's happened at the moment is that I have got to have some treatment. I've got to have surgery, which means I'm going to have to rest. And that means I'm going to have to make sure that I've got a house full of food that's really easy to prepare. I'm going to be limited in the use of one arm. So that's going to mean probably not going to want to chop vegetables and pull my steamer in and out of the cupboard. I'm probably going to want to have everything really sort of simplified. So what I've done with that is I have actually prepared a number of meals that are in the freezer. So we can have a look at the freezer and see what that looks like.
So this is what I have in the freezer. I've got a selection of bologneses, chilies, curries, meatball dinners. There's a couple of things like burgers and a pack of fish fingers in there, just random things. But predominantly it's all batch cooked and all ready, so that meals are really easy to prepare for when I've got limitations to my the use of that arm.
I've been doing that over the last couple of weeks, just as I've cooked something in the slow cooker as I would normally batch cook. What I've done is I've batch cooked, I've perhaps used a portion of that for the meal on the day, and then I've put the rest of it away in the freezer, ready for the time where it's going to be a little bit more challenging for me to prepare food, for example. Some of the other things I've had to do with that contingency money is I've had to buy bras. I'm going to be very, very honest with you. It's not taboo, is it? I've been diagnosed with breast cancer and I've been advised to buy some different bras to support me. Apologies to the guys if you're a guy watching and I'm talking about ladies things, apologies. But this is real life, do you know what I mean? So I've spent about £80 on that underwear because I need different underwear. I need something that's supportive, and that's an expense that I never imagined I'd need. And it's not an emergency. You could argue maybe that would come from the emergency fund, but to me it comes out of a contingency fund. The other thing that you might use a contingency fund for might be maybe somebody invites you to go somewhere and maybe you've not seen that person for a long time and you really want to go and spend some time with them. So you need to put extra money in your budget for travel, for example. Contingency fund's there for that. And what I would say to you is, with your contingency fund, you always pay that back. So once you get back on your feet and things get straight again, you re-budget for the following months and you look at how you can put that contingency fund back. How much should you have in a contingency fund? I think that's up to you, really. I think my contingency fund is quite sizable, I would say. and it varies because some months I've paid off quite a lot of my credit cards and that fund doesn't look as healthy, but I've probably got around about £1,000 in that. And it would be very tempting for me to spend that on something really nice, like a new camera, so I could do my YouTube channel or go photograph the Northern Lights, because that's one of my passions. But I haven't done that, and I'm really pleased I haven't done that at this point in time, because I've needed that contingency fund. I've needed to do things like have extra, I've had to travel more, I've had to get myself into hospital for appointments, which has meant spending money on our little metro system, which is like a little an inter-town train. It's quite a cute little thing, but it costs me £5 or £6 every day. Not every day, but every time I travel on that. So that adds up. And then normally I might buy lunch when I do that. So I've spent a little bit extra on lunches and coffees. So I think the contingency fund is really important. If you don't have your contingency fund, what do you think might happen? So I think without my contingency fund, some of the things that I might have been tempted to do prior to being on this debt-free journey would be that I would have put things on credit card, and then the credit card system I would start being charged more interest. So perhaps my train journeys, had I not had the contingency fund, would have gone on to a credit card. The new underwear onto a credit card. Why wouldn't you? So all of those things, I think, are the reasons why it's really, really important to have a contingency fund, and to make sure that you're not reliant on your credit cards. I think the other thing about this debt-free journey, and certainly something I've learned over this past year, is that life does throw things at us. Life throws at us the most unexpected, strange, bizarre, challenging, sometimes wonderful things, but they mean sometimes that we are in a position where our finances look very different. The other thing that I've used that contingency fund for, again, not an emergency, I've used it to buy food that I wouldn't normally have bought. So if you followed me and seen me on videos before, I allow myself a very small budget for groceries. I tend to either buy things from, please excuse me, I have a watery eye. I tend to buy things that might be on offer or on yellow stickers, etc. Or I just buy fresh fruit and veg and try to get the bargains. To be honest with you, my headspace has not been on budgeting. So my budget, my weekly budget that I set at the beginning of the month, has gone through the window, because I've had to think ahead. I've had to think that for the next 4 weeks at least, I'm going to have everything prepared. I'm not going to be able to go shopping and just buy a load of fresh fruit and vegetables and slam it in the fridge and then prepare it on a daily basis. I'm not going to have the strength to do that. So I've had to think ahead and spend money from that contingency fund on food. Undoubtedly that will pay itself back. So when I get paid and I get my food budget for next month, that food budget will pay straight into that contingency fund. So contingency fund isn't there just to be spent on anything you want. You might want a new dress or something. You might want some new shoes. It's not really for that. It might be for that if you get an interview for a job, for example, and you need to go buy yourself a new smart outfit. That might be a contingency fund use. How do we save for a contingency fund? So what we do is we save for a contingency fund on a monthly basis. We make sure that when we write our budget and we decide how much we need to pay out on bills, we decide how much we need to spend on our food and our fuel and everything else. It's that we allocate an amount every month to pay in to that contingency fund, because that way you build it up gradually, and you're not sort of just missing it, a chunk of money all at once. And it doesn't matter how much you can pay in. You might only be able to pay £5 or £10 in. That's better than nothing. If you can pay more, that's absolutely fine. But you will know, you have your own budget, you will know how to set that. But I can't speak strongly enough about this idea of a contingency fund. Lots of other people that I watch who talk about debt-free journeys and paying down debt don't really seem to talk about this idea of a contingency fund. We hear them talk about the emergency fund, we hear them talk about sinking funds. Maybe it's similar to sinking funds. So sinking funds are the money you put away for things that do come out of your account over the year, but you don't need to pay them right away. So let's say, for example, your car service, and you are maybe predicting there may be £300 worth of work plus the service. I don't know. So say £300-400 for the car service, and you put that money away every month so that when you get your car serviced, you've got that money there to pay for that. That's a sinking fund. That's my understanding of it anyway. The contingency fund is different. The contingency fund is there for something that comes that's unexpected, but it's not an emergency. It's not like the dog broke its leg. It's not like the cooker blew up. It's like the little things in life that are sent to try us. It's the lemons. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. I'm trying to make lemonade. Although I'm not literally trying to make lemonade. Maybe I should. Maybe we'll do some lemonade one day. Some of the other things I've done with my contingency fund are, so I've batch cooked, today I've made a meatball dinner. Meatball dinner is in the slow cooker. Yesterday I made a crustless quiche. Cheese and broccoli crustless quiche. In the week I made a gorgeous Thai curry, and I've already got things like chilli and what have you in there. Chilies and bologneses and all sorts. And I'm going to buy some of those little packets of rice, because I don't think I'm going to be able to lift a pan of boiling water when I've boiled the rice. I won't be able to lift anything out of the oven or out of the microwave if it's heavy, so I couldn't microwave a pot of rice and then lift that out. I need the little bag so I can just do it with one hand. So those are the things that I've been doing, just as examples, in terms of using this contingency fund. So I want you to think about your budget and let me know in the comments what you have experienced. Have you experienced needing to use money out of your savings or out of your emergency fund that you didn't really want to? Could you have had a contingency fund? Do you have a contingency fund? Do you have sinking funds? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed this little video today. Apologies for a bit of a tickly cough that I've got, which is making my eyes water. Unfortunately, I had a cold, which I didn't really need, but there we are. Let me know in the comments what you've liked. Let me know in the comments what your experiences are, and hopefully I will see you again next time. Bye for now.